Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Dominic, founder of SmartCatholics, and so excited to welcome Edita, one of the founders of Select to Give and the Select International Tours. Welcome, Edita. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here with you, Dominic.
Edita has very graciously been one of the main sponsors for the Emmanuel Christmas Festival for SmartCatholics in 2020. And her program was something that she created a year ago now, I think, to support Christians in the Holy Land because they don't get things from, for example, the government or other institutions to support them when things are difficult. And especially with this past year, with COVID, it's been extremely difficult for them, Christians being a minority. So apart from running pilgrimages and tours, she also runs these really innovative support and donation programs to help our Christian brothers and sisters. Before getting into all of that, though, Edita, on your website, you share a little hint of a story that when you were on pilgrimage to the Holy Land, you met this lady over coffee, and she seems to have changed your life. Could you share with us who you were, what you were going through, and why that inspired you to start Select to Give?
Well, of course, and that is an encounter that will remain in my heart and my memory forever. This was in 2012. That was the year that my company, Select International Tours, it's a pilgrimage company, was celebrating its 25th anniversary. And I decided to go on a pilgrimage to Holy Land. I was a pilgrimage of gratitude. And it was my 25th pilgrimage to the Holy Land. So I had decided this time, I usually accompany groups, but this time I decided to go on my own, and I was exploring parts of Holy Land that I was not so familiar with. There's so much there. And I decided to spend more time in Bethlehem on this particular trip. Usually I just pass through Bethlehem with on the pilgrimages that we do. And I stayed in Bethlehem a few days just to learn about the city. And I was always interested in learning more about the Christian population there and how they lived. And this time I was staying at a hotel, had dinner with some friends, and went into the ladies' room. And so, us ladies, when we're looking at the mirror, putting on lipstick, we start conversations. And this woman, very beautiful woman, started a conversation with me, and she asked where I was from. She introduced herself. She said she was Christian from living in Bethlehem. And she said, "You are so blessed to be living in the United States and to be able to travel and to own your own business." And I said, "I think so too, but I think, when people work hard, they can accomplish anything they want." So it's this American mentality. And she said, "Oh, we work very hard here, but we don't have the same opportunities, especially us women." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Why not?" And she said, "Well, it's still a very traditional society." So I was intrigued by this. I invited her to have coffee with me. And we had coffee, and we started a great friendship. And during this time, she shared with me stories of Christians in the Holy Land, in particular in Bethlehem, where she lived, and Christian women who are the center of the family, but they don't have the opportunities for the education, for employment opportunities, to travel as we do here in the West. Now, things are changing, absolutely, but it is still very much traditional society. So I was very intrigued, and I wanted to learn more. And I met other women, and I met other Christians from that community. And as I asked them, "How can I help? I bring a lot of people to the Holy Land on pilgrimage. How can I help you? What can we do?" They started telling me what was most needed. And so the idea of Select to Give, our foundation, was born. But I think what's different, one of the things that are different about Select to Give, is that we never try to impose our ideas or our programs onto that particular population. we always ask them, what do you need? What's most important to you? And how can we help you in the best way possible?
Mhm.
And so all the programs that we support are programs that were suggested to us by the locals. And our largest program is what we call educational adoption program, which helps Christian children stay in Christian schools. So we provide tuition for the kids to attend Christian school in Nazareth, in Jerusalem, and in Bethlehem. And it costs $1,200 per child to attend Christian school, have supplies and books.
Mhm.
It doesn't seem like a whole lot of money to many Americans. To some, of course, it is, but to many, it's a reasonable amount of money when you look at how much parochial schools cost in the US. But for those families living in Palestine, where Bethlehem is in particular, where the average salary is $500 per month or $6,000 a year, which will be equivalent to $60,000 in the US. That's a lot of money.
Mhm.
So they do want the kids to go to Christian schools because it's not just a matter of receiving solid Christian education. It's also a matter of safety, because if they're going to Jewish schools, they're good schools, but they're going to be indoctrinated in the Jewish faith or in the Muslim faith. And so it's a struggle. And for the families that have 2, 3, 4 kids, it's just not possible. So that is the program that is our largest program. And it has been very successful. We are now, with the initiatives that we had this year, we are paying for the education of almost 100 students.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
So what have been some of the, how did 2020, I mean, with this weird and strange situation that the world is in, your website describes how difficult it has been for the Christians in the Holy Land. But what have been some of the successes maybe that you've had this past year?
Well, this has been a difficult year for everyone. For my business, Select International Tours, it was devastating because we had planned this year to be the best year ever, because there was just so much interest in pilgrimage travel. And then in March, everything came to a grinding stop, and all of the groups we had were canceling or postponing to future travel dates in 21 and 22. So we found ourselves with a full staff and not much to do. But as unfortunate as that was on one side of the spectrum, it was a blessing on another, because we had all this time and I had a staff, and my staff volunteers their time in support of Select to Give. So Select to Give does not have any paid staff. It's all volunteer based. Okay. So every donation, every dollar goes directly to the Christians in the Holy Land. And we started brainstorming about what we can do. We were in touch with our guides and drivers in the Holy Land and with a lot of the families that we work with over there. And the needs kept growing because, as you mentioned before, they do not have government support. They don't have unemployment. They don't have any institutional support. So these families rely on tourism and pilgrimages, the shop owners and the restaurant owners, the hotel owners, the bus drivers, the guides, and so on. And they're very proud people. They're not the type of people who are going to complain and ask for help. Mm-hmm. And whenever we approached the guides that we were working with, or the shop owners or the restaurant owners, and say, how are you doing? How can we help you? We're fine. God will provide is their answer. They're people of great faith. And I said, wow, we got to do more than that. So we teamed up with Father Leo Patalinghug, mm-hmm. and his team, and then a group of fantastic Catholic evangelists and speakers. Some of them also do pilgrimages through our company, mm-hmm. but they've all been to the Holy Land, so they could speak to the experience of meeting the Christians of the Holy Land firsthand. Mm-hmm. And we created this event called Renew Hope for the Holy Land, which aired middle of November. And we had over 850 people attend this virtual event that was 2 hours. And our goal was to raise $50,000 so that we could support 100 families and some of the other programs. So we could give them Christmas gifts
Uh-huh.
But we've raised well over $80,000 now.
Oh,
So it
praise God.
exceeded all of our expectations. And I am so grateful to people who just responded. And some people gave $10, and that's fine. And other people were able to give more. But in addition to making the donation, it's also important to keep the Christian brothers and sisters in the Holy Land in our thoughts, in our prayers, to learn about their lives. Hopefully, people can go on a pilgrimage one day and meet them.
Mhm.
But keeping them in our prayers and our thoughts and learning about the situation is also very important, so they know that they are not forgotten.
Mhm. I'm so glad that it did go so well. Tell me briefly, what are your thoughts for 2021 now that, as you've described, you've had to maybe shift gears a little bit and maybe things are opening up a little more, but I imagine you've now had a while to think about new things that you're working on in the new year.
We are working on some new initiatives. We try to be creative, and we're always trying to incorporate the educational aspect with the philanthropic aspect. So one of the programs that we're planning to do probably early spring is to work with Christian chefs from Bethlehem who will be doing virtual cooking classes
Oh, how cool. That's
in
great.
support of Select to Give.
Yeah.
And some of those chefs, so-called chefs, will be professional chefs who work in hotels or restaurants, but some of them will be grandmas um, who cook for their families and who can share traditional recipes with us. So that's one of the programs. We have several others in mind, but if people are interested in learning more about Select to Give, they can visit our website, which is selecttogive.org. And we talk about the different programs that we support and how the foundation was started. And then you will also find contact information and letters from all the different organizations that we support. It's extremely important to us that everything we do be fully transparent, because
Mhm.
so many times we write a check, we send it, we feel better about it, but we really never know where this check is going.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, a lot of it gets spent on administrative activities, which are necessary to run large philanthropic organizations. We're a small organization, but we want the people who are donating and who are supporting the organization to know exactly where their money is going, where their donation is going. But
Mhm.
in addition to that, people can also volunteer their time. So if they have an expertise, and we list some of the expertise that we're looking for, um, they can volunteer their time. Right now, the program is based on traveling to Holy Land on a pilgrimage and then spending an extra week there, which we pay all the expenses for that extra week. But we're also considering instituting or setting up some virtual educational programs, especially for women, because one of the programs we support is a micro grant program for women who want
Mhm.
to start their businesses. And while they all need money, and we provide money for equipment mainly, they also need to learn about new skills, and including marketing and creating a business plan, and
Mhm.
reading a financial report. So we are looking for volunteers who can help with that.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Um, I think I saw on your How to Help page, you even have a donation match program. I think it was up to $50, and you'll match that.
Correct. So we do match any donation up to $50. So if someone donates 20, we will match $20. If somebody donates 50, we match 50. If somebody donates $500, we match the first 50, then the donation is $550. And then for Giving Tuesday, we had an incentive where we matched up to $100. When I say we, Select International Tours
Okay,
is matching the donations.
that's wonderful. Edita, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. And for those interested in supporting Select to Give, you can visit selecttogive.org. And something that we'll be doing with Smart Catholics with our Emmanuel Festival is we'll give $1 from every $25 ticket that we can bring in. From this event, we'll give $1 to Select to Give, as well as a little way for us to be able to support you as well.
Well, that's wonderful news. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And I want to thank you for all the work you're doing. I'm a big fan of Smart Catholics. And I hope that we can continue talking, and you can continue your great work, and we can continue informing people about the Christians of the Holy Land. And in conclusion, I want to wish everyone a very blessed Christmas. And if people are interested, they can watch the Mass at midnight from the Church of the Nativity, because that will be aired live this year. And if anybody needs information, Select to Give has a Facebook page, and we will be posting information on our Facebook page beginning of next week about how to connect to that Mass. Posting the link about Mass times and how to connect.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Edita. And to all those watching, a very blessed and very Merry Christmas to you. God bless you.
God bless. Thank you.